Hi, everyone, and welcome to my first live for Postcards to Heaven. Today, I want to talk about. Oh, okay, my first glitch there. Wait a minute. Okay, I think we're good now. Welcome, everyone, to my first live for Postcards to Heaven. Today, I want to talk about something that is, I think, really important, and that is to show you how I know that our loved ones who have passed away are really still with us. And I'm going to give you 4 examples of what I have experienced in my own life with my mother. Um, I started Postcards to Heaven to be a tangible, real way that someone who is going through grief and really missing their person, it's a way that they can physically connect with that person. And I'll tell you a little bit more about Postcards to Heaven at the end of the live stream. But let's jump right into today's topic. And that is that the people we love are still with us. Their physical body is gone, but their essence isn't. And here's how I know it's really scientific. The first law of thermodynamics says that energy can neither be created or destroyed. It can only be changed from one form to another. Now, obviously, a person is a big ball of energy. I mean, think of the person you love. When I think about my mother, I mean, she was short, she was barely 5 feet tall, but she was of Sicilian descent. She was loud and she was feisty. So, although her body is gone, that energy, it it can't just disappear. It just changes into something else. So her love, her essence, her personality is still around. And if that energy still exists, then that means we can still interact with it on some level. And that's what this live stream is about. So the first thing is that your person may physically be gone, but they're not gone. Now, what I want to do is share my mother. I don't know, she visits me or contacts me regularly. And I want to give you 4 examples of how. And the first one, this one actually happened last weekend. So I was just feeling I was feeling really crummy last weekend. And I was out and we were out at like this outdoor mall area, and we were sitting on a bench, and there was a store just to the right of me, and I don't know, something came over me and I said, I'm just going to go in there and walk around. And I found something. And this is what happens often with my mother is sometimes I'll physically be thinking about her and I'll ask for a sign and I'll be directed to like go into a store, and then other times I'll just happen upon something and find it. Well, on this particular day, I don't know, I was just feeling crummy, and I was kind of talking to her in my mind, and so I'm directed to go into this store. But let me pause on that, because when I took care of my mother who had Alzheimer's disease. I took care of her for nearly 5 years in my home. And during her shower time, we would talk and we would sing and do stuff. And one day I said to her, Mother, what will be the sign that that you're trying to talk to me once you passed away? And I suggested a few things, and she just missed all of them, and she said, "How about a song?" And she said, "How about that song, You Are My Sunshine?" And I thought that that was almost a kind of weird, because that wasn't a song that we would sing with each other very often, but I said, "Okay, that's gonna be the sign," and that was it, and we never talked about it again. So I walked into this store last weekend, and I was feeling crummy and wanted to talk to her, and this is what I found. Oh, it was a little plaque, and it says, "You are my sunshine." So, anyway, when I saw it, I just laughed and I chuckled to myself, and I knew that that was her, and it just helped me. It just helped me to feel better and to know that everything is just gonna be okay. So that's one. I wanna show you another one. Another one is I was out doing errands, and there was this old store in downtown Florence, and it's not really a thrift it's like a thrift store, but for, memorabilia kind of stuff, and so I saw the store and I thought, "Oh, I'm gonna go in there." I just kind of felt my mother being around me. So now I have to pause and tell you this story. When I went to college in Daytona Beach, Florida, at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, and my mother came with me for my first year. This was just, it was the year after my father died, and so we were both struggling with that, and I had planned to go to school a few years before that, but I didn't. That's a whole other story. But, several months after my father died, my mother and I were walking on the beach, and I said, "You know, mother, I think it's time that I go to college, and do you wanna come with me? Do you wanna come with me?" And she just looked at me and she said, "Yes, let's do it." And I thought, "Wow," she didn't even hesitate. So, oftentimes in life, when you don't hesitate about something, it's, like, really right. Anyway, we went. She came with me for my first year in Daytona Beach, Florida, and we both loved Florida. It was an amazing time for both of us. So now let me get back to the story where I'm sitting in my car. Now this is almost 30 years later, and this is just last year this happened. I'm sitting outside this little thrift store for the memorabilia stuff, and I felt her, and I thought, "I'm gonna go in there and just walk around, and maybe she has something to say to me, or maybe she wants to talk to me or something." And I found this bell, and it says, let me see if I can get it to focus. There it is. And this little bell, this little ceramic bell, I think it costs like $3 or something, but it says Florida on it. And I knew just when I walked up to it, when I saw it, that it was her, for sure, without a doubt. Okay, I'm gonna tell you one other thing. Now, this is at a time when I wasn't thinking about her at all. I mean, what I mean is she's always in my thoughts, I always have her with me. But in this particular moment, I was just in my own everyday life, not really thinking about her in particular. And I ordered some underwear, some bras and some panties from a company called Soma, and my package was delivered. When I opened it, I was just flabbergasted. I knew immediately it was a sign. So, uh, just to reiterate, what I ordered was some panties and bras. That is all that I ordered, and this came it had been maybe, I don't know, it was 3 or 4 years after my mother died, and I'm gonna show you the box, what I wrote pajamas sent to me by mistake. Okay, so anyway, so I open up this box, and right on top are my here, I'll show you. Right on top here are my panties, my bras, and everything that they sent me. Now, I couldn't see this at the time, but I'm taking everything out, making sure I got everything that I ordered, and on the bottom of my order is this. These are my mother I got my mother's pajamas from Soma, and she loved these exact style because they were really soft, and she always had me order them in an extra large because she hated anything tight around her stomach. So these were loose on her, and it has like a little tie where we could tie it only as tight as she wanted so they wouldn't fall down. And look it, I am not an extra large. I'm an extra small, so I never would have ordered these for myself. Look, these are an extra large. So they were in the box. And I knew that when I opened it, I knew that it was a sign from her just to say hello. And like I said, I wrote on the box, pajamas sent to me by mistake. And I have by mistake in quotation marks because it wasn't a mistake. And so that was a really beautiful thing to receive on that day for sure, and definitely another sign. Okay, now I wanna show you, like, the most amazing, I'm not sure what to call it. This was a really incredible moment. So, my mother died in April, and her birthday is in September. So 5 months after she died, this was her first birthday after she died, or she left her body. My one of my mentors used to say, because people don't really die. They just kind of their spirit moves on. So my friend Diane called me. She was my neighbor at the time. She loved my mother, and my mother adored her. And she called me, and she said, "Nancy, you've gotta come out here right now." So I go outside, and underneath what was my mother's bedroom window when she lived with us, where we took care of her in our home, were was this. Let's see if you can under her window were these 2 cellophane happy birthday whoops, wait a minute, let me see, let me do something so you can see it easier. Okay, it was better when I it was good at first. Here, I'm gonna just do it like this. So under her bedroom, what was her bedroom window was these 2 cellophane happy birthday balloons, and one of them was still inflated. And so, a lot of people might say that something like this is, I don't know, just a coincidence or something like that, but I don't know. I don't listen to people like that because I know it's not a coincidence. So what I did is I gave one of the balloons to my sister, and the other one I have framed, and I have it hanging up in my office, which I'm looking at it, you can't see it right now, but I had it framed, and I have it hanging in my office so that I can see it all the time, and just have a reminder that she is with me because I know she's with me. So those are the 4 things that I wanted to share with you today. And now what I wanna do is talk really briefly about Postcards to Heaven, and I wanna pull up the website, and I wanna show it to you. When I was in and I'm gonna tell you, um, how I even thought to start this. Okay, so the website is postcardstoheaven.com, and if you do look it up, this is it. And I wanna tell you the story of how this even first came about. My husband and I traveled to, Japan in November of last year, and while we were there, we had a tour guide, and I'm not even sure how it came up. I think I mentioned my mother, something that, "Oh, my mother would have loved this," and our tour guide's name her name was Kumi, and she said, "You know what we have here in Japan? We have, a lost post office, and it's a place where you can write a postcard or a letter or whatever you to someone who has passed away, who you love and you miss, and you can send a postcard to them." And I thought, "Oh my gosh, that is what a beautiful, tradition that is." So we I'm gonna show you a picture of it. So I bought a couple of postcards. Let me see. Over here it was better. I bought a couple of postcards, and I sent one to my mother and one to Christina, and this is a picture of me before I dropped them in the mailbox. And when I dropped those postcards in the mailbox, it's kind of like this wave of peace, but not just peace, more importantly, this feeling of connection just overwhelmed me. Like I really was connected to my mother, and at this point, she was passed away for 7 years, and my mentor, Christina, who's been passed away for a year, and I really felt like I connected with them. And I came home and I told my sister about it, and she said, "Oh my gosh, you should start something like that here." and I thought to myself, "Oh my gosh," I didn't say it to her. In the moment, I said, "Yeah, maybe that would be good." But in my head, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, the last thing I have time for is to stop this big about someone sending postcards to people who have passed away." But that thought has just never left me, and it's almost like it started to cook. And so, one day I said, "Yeah, I will do this," and I started it. So, this is the website. It's called Postcards to Heaven, and all you have to do is write a postcard. If you scroll down on the website, it tells you all about it, but it also gives, the address where you would send your postcard. There it is, Postcards to Heaven, number 333, care of Nancy Regan, and it gives you the address, and you send the postcard. Now, this is still new, so I haven't received a postcard from anyone I don't know yet. I've sent a couple of cards myself, but once I get postcards, here's what happens. We have a beautiful piece of farmland just about a mile and a half from where we live, and, um, my husband bought me this beautiful thing for my birthday that I just got that I'm gonna use to burn the postcards. So when I get them, the intention will be we'll have a really like, a very peaceful, quiet, sacred ceremony, and I will burn each postcard or card or letter or whatever it is that you have, and the intention is that, the smoke will just take your thoughts and your sentiments, your questions, whatever it is you have for your loved one who's passed away, and it will send those to heaven where they will most certainly receive them. Another thing I wanna say is that, this is a beautiful tradition, um, that I hope will take off here, in the United States and extend to anywhere in the world where they might wanna, participate from. But the people who we love and who have passed away, they're not really gone. They will always still be with us, and, we most can contact them and just send them love. And, the things like when I was directed to go into the store to pack, or when I found, the when my neighbor, and friend Diane found the balloons, and when I found this little ceramic, bell, it's not like it's not this dramatic thing like thunderbolts come down and you just, "Oh my gosh," all these amazing things. It's really more subtle, and the one thing I wanna leave you with is this: if you are struggling with grief and you just need to have a sign from your loved one to know that they're still with you and that they're okay, is you can just talk to them and think about them, and when you are sent a sign, you're probably gonna you'll feel something, but it's gonna be something where you say to yourself, uh and you start questioning it. Right now, that negative energy starts to come in like, "Oh, that couldn't have been him, that or her, that's all hooey, that's woo-woo, crazy stuff, don't think of that." Those thoughts may start to, come into your mind, and you just need to focus on the feeling that you're having because it's probably, and it may be a very gentle knowing or a feeling that you get, and just know, let me share with you that you can most definitely, you can trust that feeling and you can trust that sign. That really is your person, without a doubt. So that's what I had to share with you today. I would love for you, if you are struggling with grief and want, just a physical way, something you can do to physically send your loved one, please do check out the website, postcardstoheaven.com. In fact, I'm gonna put that in the chat right now. The link is now in the chat. You can click on that and scroll down, and you will find the address where you can do that, and, there it is. So just know your loved ones are always with you, they're safe and sound where they are, and, um, you can talk to them in your mind and in your heart anytime you want. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next live. I'm Nancy Regan from Postcards to Heaven. Thank you for